Hello, I'm Dr. Roger Bromé, and today's Psych clip is going to be on recovery mindset. The recovery mindset I'm talking about today is the injury recovery mindset. It takes a real change in your mentality when you suffer an injury. And lately, I suffered a pulled or maybe a minor tore hamstring while squatting. And it's discouraging. That's the first thing that goes through my mind and might go through yours is just feeling that discouragement of you are making progress and you're getting your meeting your goals and achieving things, and then all of a sudden, you get out of position or make a lose concentration for a minute and just get injured. What I've learned is that you have to change your mindset, that now getting back to normal is the new gold medal that you need to win. If you can actually come back from an injury and get back into a building phase, you've done it, and you've done it correctly. But to do that, you really got to have the right mindset. So what I've always done when I work with people that suffer an injury and are coming back from that is there's a couple of things to deal with. One of the things is that you might have some psychological trauma. Depending on how catastrophic the injury is, and under what circumstances that injury happened, sometimes injuries can be quite debilitating, and they can be debilitating for months psychologically, just like they can be debilitating physiologically. So, a thing to keep in mind is that when you have something extremely catastrophic, as far as an injury is concerned, is to start working on your mental game again. And some of that is doing some imagery to not only rebuild. That's something that actually has been shown to work, is that spending some time doing imagery and actually sending healing. You can do a lot of things like that. You can send a healing light to that injured body part and imagine that light healing the tissues and putting things back together. You can even do something as practical as imagining little construction workers going in there and fixing things, or somebody going in and sewing things up for you, and that kind of thing. So the imagery you use is not really as important as spending the time to get into a totally relaxed and focused state and focusing on the repair of that. You'll find that as you get better, and you trust in that process, that you're also going to feel more empowered, and you're actually employing your own agency in doing your own healing. And those things psychologically are really, really important. We know that when somebody is determined to come back, they're determined to repair and do what they need to do to recover, they can do it. So the overall mindset, and now what it means to train, what it means to accomplish something, all of these goals need to change. One of the goals that you need to do is you need to be able to move through the range of motion with maybe discomfort. No discomfort is the goal. If you can move through the full range of motion without any discomfort, you've actually achieved something. If you can start moving through part of the range of motion but under loads, you've achieved something. So you have a couple of different strategies to your training that you can use, where you can set new goals, and kind of integrate both things, both range of motion, and of course, if you're a strength athlete, the goal is to be able to move through the range of motion under as high a load as possible for your sport. So you really have to start thinking in terms of, what am I doing to make sure that I'm recovering from the injury and I'm taking care of those tissues, but I'm also taking care of my mindset and not pushing things too fast. So there's a certain amount of not forcing things that you need to develop in this new mentality of recovery. Now, the goal is to go from this recovery mentality back into a building mentality. So these two worlds are completely different for you. And what I would suggest is that when you start getting to the point that you're training up into the 85%, 90% of what you used to be able to do, that now you're just about totally healed. The most important thing is to not get too impatient and start pushing things too quickly and too hard. One of the mental aspects that you need to do is you need to build trust again with yourself in that movement. You need to trust that body part again to do its job as part of the whole constellation of the movement and all of the body parts and all of the muscles that it takes you to do that movement. So you have to learn that, you have to retrust yourself, and that comes through just approximations and little by little, moving a little bit more as far as range of motion, and again, putting a little bit more load on it. So that's today's Psych clip. If you like the Psych clips, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see new content coming up. The last thing I want to leave you with before I go is that a recovery mindset really takes an attitude of self-care. It really takes an attitude of doing what's best for you and having your mindset be, I'm going to do what's best for me to recover so that I can recover as soon as I possibly can to get back to my building phase. You also might want to consider putting your building phase focus on other parts of your lifts, the lifts that you can do that aren't injured. So for example, if you have a shoulder injury that hurts your bench press, something up in your rotator cuff, and you're trying to get that mobility back, and you're trying to get the strength back into that, then focus on your deadlift, focus on your squat, or focus on carries. Try to augment your training so that you can still maintain somewhere a building phase. And also, this is a time maybe to work on some of those muscle groups and things like that you neglect and you should neglect. Maybe this is the time to get really, really strong abs, is just focus on a building phase there. But always remember, when you go back to the injured part or those movements that are involving the injury, that you've got to have that rehabilitation and recovery mindset. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Psych clip.